G'day everyone, and welcome back to PowerSelect's Fitness, helping you to build your body to both look and perform at its best. In today's video, we'll be looking over all the major pull movements to decide which ones are good, which ones may not be worth your time, and which ones are optimal for getting your results. So let's jump into it. So this tier list will be related to a lot of pull-based movements, whether it be you're on a push-pull leg split, or you like to do more movements relating to movement patterns as compared to muscle groups. This is the one for you. So we're going through these exercises at the bottom here, placing them between A and C rank, and then at the end I'll give you my top 3 exercises if you're short on time, the 3 that you should absolutely prioritize working on. I will then give my most underrated pick as well as my most overrated pick. Not necessarily a bad exercise, these are all amazing exercises, hence why it's only A through C tier, but just ones that I think may get a bit too much love as opposed to these other ones in compare and contrast. So let's jump into it with the first exercise being the pull-up. Now, I always am seeing the pull-ups praised. I think it's absolutely one of the best exercises that you can do, period. Not just for the pull chain. I think that it's just amazing for building up your back, building up your arms, building up your forearm strength, your coordination, athleticism, your core as well. Just an overall, just absolutely amazing exercise. It's good for building strength. It's good for hypertrophy. And overall, it's just absolutely terrific exercise. I can't say anything negative about it, except the only possible thing is that it may be hard if you are new to the gym, or you may find it a bit hard. You may have higher body fat percentage and therefore you can't perform your first pull-up. But that's the thing, you can just work towards prioritizing that and moving towards your first pull-up, because once you do that, it's going to be so addictive. You want to continuously get higher on your pull-ups, get a higher pull-up count, get a higher weighted pull-up. Just overall terrific exercise, and it is going in the A tier. Moving on to the lat pull down, a very common exercise in the gym community, especially in bodybuilding. They often say it's the one to go to if you want to build wide lats. Overall though, I think it's quite an overrated exercise. I think it's still absolutely good. I just think that a lot of people sing its praises when I think the pull-up does what it does, but way better. I think that it's obviously a good exercise if you don't have access to a pull-up bar, which is going to be a very rare instance since you're most likely going to have access to a pull-up bar if you have access to a lat pull-down machine. It can be good for building up the strength of your first pull-up, but once you can do pull-ups, I think that it's definitely better to do pull-ups. So the lat pull-down will be going in the top of the C tier. Moving on to the inverted row. This is going to be a great movement which will allow you to reach your first pull-up as well. Like whenever someone says they can't do pull-ups but they want to reach their first pull-up, I say inverted rows, absolutely amazing exercise. They'll give you the similar sort of strength benefits, but in a slightly easier way, so you can build up to your first pull-up. However, once you get your first few pull-ups, I think it's definitely better to be sticking with those, and there's not much benefits of doing the inverted row over one of the upcoming row variations that we will see. So therefore, the inverted row will be going in the C tier. Great exercise and very, very optimal for beginners, but I think that overall there's definitely better options, such as the bent over row. Amazing exercise for building up your back, and great exercise for overall strength and power and athleticism. However, if you've seen the back tier list, you'll know that I think that there's definitely a few limiting factors. For example, your lower back may be the deciding factor. You may not be able to hold that sort of weight for that amount of time, or you may slowly start to go more upright, which will hit more shoulders, which obviously this is a pull tier list, so therefore it's not as big a deal. But overall, I just think there's definitely better options which will not allow that to be your deciding factor. So that's going to be going in bottom of A tier, but in my opinion, the chest supported row is just so good for upper body pull strength. It takes away the lower body, and if this is what you're looking for, great for building up upper body strength, hypertrophy, and as we said before, your lower back won't be the deciding factor, and as well as going more upright. So overall, just absolutely terrific exercise, and going in the A tier above the bent over row. Moving on to the cable row. Now, this is in a similar situation to the lat pull down, where obviously it's a good exercise, but I think there's much better options. I think that these two row variations up here are going to be getting more bang for your buck, and therefore I think that I'd recommend doing these two over the cable row. So therefore, I'm going to be putting the cable row. It's still a good exercise, so I'm going to put it at bottom of B tier, but I think there's definitely better options. Moving on to the high pull. This is very good for building up your rear delts, your lateral delts, and also your upper back, your traps. I think it's just absolutely terrific exercise. You can do it for more slower for strength and hypertrophy, or you can do more explosive reps for power as well as a bit of hypertrophy in there. Just overall great exercise for almost all variations of training, such as hypertrophy, athleticism, so on and so forth. So that is going to be going in the A tier as well. Moving on to the face pull. Great exercise as well for your upper back, for your rear deltoids. In general, I think that the high pull is better for this particular like chain of muscles, and but it's still very good exercise for the like the posture muscles. So it's going to be going in the top of B tier, but I just think a few of these just do what the face pull does, but better, as you can load a lot more of them easier. So next is going to be the straight arm pull down. This is a great exercise for isolating the lats and really focusing on that mind muscle connection. It's something that I use quite a bit in order to really improve my lat strength and lat size. So I think it's going to go in about the middle of B tier, like probably not going to be the upper echelon, but still a very, very good movement. Moving on, so we're now going to go into the biceps side of things. So we're going to be starting off with the standing curl. It can be done with barbells, dumbbells, easy bar. There's easy bar in the picture just because I think that it just like works like best for me, but it can be done with any of them. I think this is one of the best movements you can do for building up your biceps. It will be like a good combination of both the long and the short head. You'll be able to load it up heavy so you can get like be able to progressively overload over time. Just overall great exercise, and it's going in the A tier, just above the below the high pull, I think. Next up is going to be the hammer curl / reverse curl. It's just being depicted here as a hammer curl, but honestly it can apply to both. These are great for hitting the brachialis and brachioradialis in the arm, not necessarily the biceps, but serve a very similar function of bending of the arm, except and it will also add volume to your arms. These are great exercise for targeting those as well as your biceps as well, although it will definitely put more emphasis on the brachialis. So for this, I'm going to be putting them in the mid B tier, I'd say. Next up is going to be the incline curl, but this can also apply to a lot of other exercises that emphasize the long head. Obviously, you guys may know I am quite a fan of the exercises that emphasize the long head of the biceps. I think they're sometimes neglected, and overall, I think the incline curls are just an absolutely amazing exercise and ones that are going to go in the B tier. Next up is going to be the preacher curl. I think the preacher curl is going to, as well as like other short head of the bicep exercise, great for building mass, not amazing as well for like athleticism or strength or something like that, but still great vanity exercise and overall pretty good. I'm going to put it in the B tier right in front of the cable fly. Okay. We're now going to be moving on to the top 3. If you can only do 3 exercises, if you're limited on time, these are the 3. Prioritize, absolutely. First of all, no surprise, the pull-up, absolutely terrific exercise. I think that it's amazing for building up your lats, building up your mid, your upper back. Overall, just almost no better movement on this list than that. Secondly, I'm going to choose a exercise that will focus more on the upper back. For me, in my opinion, I'd choose between the high pull and the chest supported row. You guys can choose whichever you want out of those two. I'm going to go with the chest supported row, even though I do love them both, but they serve a similar purpose of the upper back, your like rear delts and just like traps, rhomboids, so on and so forth. Just overall, both great exercises. And finally, we're going to do one which will emphasize more the biceps. Great vanity exercise that a lot of people want to have big biceps, big arms, so on and so forth. So we're going to be going with the barbell curl for that. Great exercise. And yeah, so now we're going to be moving over to the underrated category. So there's a lot of different ones that it could be underrated. It could be the high pull. It could be the lat pullover. They're both very underrated exercises. I'm going to go with the high pull because it sometimes will be neglected. I think a lot of people often think of the pull up, the lat pull down, sometimes like the cable rows. I think it's very important to emphasize the exercises that will work on your traps, your rear delts, and your lateral deltoids, just the pulling muscles of the upper body. And for the overrated, I'm going to be going with the lat pull down, since a lot of the time people will choose it over the pull up, which I think is just so much better in every single way, as I've said before. So yeah, that's going to be my list. And there we have it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like. If you have any comments or any disagreements with anything that happened in the list, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want your own tailored program where I break everything down for you, be sure to check it out on the website, link in the description down below.